Hey, what's up, good people? It's Jay Ray, the co host of Q Points, and I wanted to come to you because there are two really important ways that you can support our show. One is by subscribing to it wherever you listen to or watch your podcasts. Q Points is pretty much everywhere. The other thing that you can do is you can visit us on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify, and on Podchaser, and you can leave us a star rating. Please rate us 5 stars because you know you love Q Points. And on Apple Podcasts and on Podchaser, you can actually leave us a written review. It's not required, but it really does help to spread the word about the show, and it helps people to discover it as they're looking for new podcasts to listen to. We're always appreciative of you supporting Q Points. We thank you so much for all that you've done for us so far, and enjoy the show.
Hello and welcome back, listener. You are tuned into Q Points, dropping the needle on Black music history. I am DJ Sir Daniel.
And my name is Jay Ray, sometimes known by my government as Johnny Ray Cornegay the Third. Sir Daniel, we are turning two.
we are officially 2 years old today. To this date, we are officially 2 days old. 2 years old. Listener, that's now that you're at the time that you're listening to this, 2 years ago, Jay Ray and I cracked these mics open, and we came with an intention of speaking specifically to Gen Xers and lovers of music of all ages who want to have deep, meaningful conversations around music and paying homage to the artists that sometimes don't get the props that they deserve. Again, I've said this 1,000 times. I just want to raise my glass real quick to you, listener, and to you, Jay Ray, for this wonderful ride that we have been on. And Jay Ray, not only is it our 2-year anniversary, listener, you are tuned in to the 100th episode of Q Point. So I say let's give it up to ourselves for that.
Yo.
It's a wonderful, wonderful time. I'm even wearing black for the occasion. That's how classy this is.
You know, I appreciate it. This has been a wonderful journey. And I could not have foreseen that we would get to 100 shows because, you know, both of us have done projects before, right? Yes. It can be really challenging with life and with, you know, all of this stuff. But we, having you as a co-host and a business partner has really helped me to stay on track, and we're here every week.
Every week.
We now do 2 shows a week because if y'all are not checking out however comma you need to be, and I am so happy. And we have had 100 different conversations about Black music, and there's no end in sight. We have so much stuff we haven't covered.
Absolutely. The sky's the limit, basically. As long as we're here, right, breathing, and as long as the listener, you're here breathing as well, we all still share a common knowledge and a common memory of music, Black music specifically, and Black artists. And, you know, there's just so many people that have donated their creativity to this culture that you're absolutely right. We're never going to be at a loss for conversations. And we always want our listeners to be able to find us. So Jay Ray, please tell the listener exactly where they can find us each and every single time that they want to tune into Q Points.
So listen, you are already here. If you're watching us, go ahead and subscribe wherever you're watching. If you are listening to us, go ahead and subscribe wherever you're listening. Please share the show. The way that you get the word out about Q Points is to share it with folks who you know love music just like you. They are going to listen to you. They will tune into the show. And because you sent it to them, they'll enjoy themselves because you enjoy yourself and you're here. So you can also go a step further. If you want to support us, you can go to our website at qpoints.com, click the subscribe button, and you can become a member of the Q Points family and become a Q Points insider, which gives you access to all of our archive of shows. And we only keep 12 shows available, as well as some of our special shows. So there's like over 70 shows that only insiders have access to. So you should just go ahead and become an insider. In addition, you can shop the Q Points store, which is store.qpoints.com. You can make a purchase there as well. So I can't say enough. Sir Daniel, this is spiked sparkling water.
Okay.
I should call myself Becky tonight because it's a White Claw. I'm drinking a White Claw. And but I wanted something special for us tonight. So cheers.
We absolutely deserve. This is a non-alcoholic beverage only because I know me and I want this show to remain classy because I'm because off of any kind of libation, I'm kind of ratchet anyway. So I don't want I don't want to go over the edge. So I want to keep now after the fact, that's a different story. That's a different story. But I want to share a compliment somebody paid to you over the weekend. You were here in Atlanta and you decided you needed to get your feet out on the dance floor and that you went out to the function. And I met you at said function so we could, because every time you come to town, like we need to link up. We need to see each other face to face, show some love, all that good stuff, because we live in two different cities and we don't get to see each other all often, right? So while I was there, we got together, we took a picture. Thank you to everybody who liked the picture on TikTok and on our socials. We took the picture and you were in your element, so I left you on the dance floor. And then I ran into another a friend of ours, Gerald, who paid you the greatest compliment. He was like, listen, he paid us a compliment, I should say. He was like, the two of you together are really onto something. He complimented our voices, he complimented the show, but he really gave you, J Ray, a shout out because he was like, whoa, that J Ray, that boy knows his sound. He says if he's not going to put anything out there that doesn't sound less than stellar. He knows exactly what he's doing. You guys sound amazing, and we should be very proud of ourselves. So I wanted to make sure you knew about that the people are checking, and they know about your greatness, Mr. Johnny Ray Cornegay III. So cheers to you.
Thank you. And that means so much to us because it is really important to me, and I know to DJ Sir Daniel that when people listen to the show, that they know how much love we put into it, right? So we really do our best to try and give y'all the best production that we can, and we want to elevate it, right? So the goal, we are not stopping. This is 100. We'll be talking to you at 200, and who knows where we'll be at 200. We'll be in our own studio. Just envision it. We'll be in our own Q Point studio by then. It'll be a whole thing, and we'll be elevating this. So thank y'all. Thank you so much for that. That's dope.
Completely. So I know that we listed this with a specific topic.
Yes.
But there has just been so much going on musically that we just we're kind of freestyling on this episode because there's just a lot to talk about. Yes. We are going to touch on Bob Marley at some point, but there's just a lot to talk about. And J Ray, one of the first things, well, first of all, we have some very important people that sent us some greetings, and I think I'm very curious. I would love to see what one of the first greetings that we received. Somebody wanted to send us some well wishes for our anniversary, so I would love to hear and see what they have to say.
Absolutely. So this is actually the first one that we received. We're going to play this one
Mm.
first. So it's a combination of, folks that we love. Actually, all of these people, most of these people have been on the show. So I want to play the first one that we received, and then we'll be right back.
Q Points Podcast. Congrats on episode number 100. I'm your homie DJ R-Tistic. Thank you for having me on there. Thank you for having just pure music lovers on there. It's all about the music and not about the foolishness like a lot of podcasts out there. So keep doing what y'all do. I'm gonna stay tuned with y'all. Congrats once again.
Wow. Listen, DJ R-Tistic is the real deal. Like, I I got my little gig on the weekend, but that brother right there is always working. And my hat's off to him. I appreciate you, R-Tistic, reaching out to us to shout us out on our anniversary and our 100th episode, because I know you stay busy DJing all the great events in LA and across the country. So thank you for sharing some time and some love with us.
Absolutely. R-Tistic was a guest on our show last year, and it was
Mm-hmm.
around the time that Beyonce's Renaissance were released. And we wanted to have
Yeah.
this conversation about the dance floor and the experiences, one from a DJ perspective, but also as a dancer experience. And we had a really great conversation. So definitely check our archives for DJ R-Tistic. And Sir Daniel, real quick, before we jump into our first topic of the night, I want to read one. So we actually got a
Yes.
written notification, and this is really important because they have an upcoming conference that y'all need to be at. So
Mm-hmm.
this is from Talib Jasir, who is with Afros and Audio. He's the founder of Afros and Audio. And he said, congratulations on Q Points podcast anniversary, and thank you for being a major part of our community. Keep going. Thank you so much, Talib. We will make sure that we include the link so that folks can sign up for the Afros and Audio Festival, which will be happening in Baltimore this year. We expect all of y'all, especially if you're into podcasting or doing podcasting, y'all should all come because it is real dope.
You absolutely should be in the house. First of all, I get to say that we'll be in Baltimore having big fun.
We will be having big fun.
That's one. And again, like you just said, J Ray, it's an amazing place to be in a center with a lot of like-minded individuals who are working diligently to create their imprint on this particular industry, the podcast industry that is taking off like no other. And it's wonderful to be surrounded by people like you, people, your community. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I believe that's just going to be a part of one of the yearly annual things that I go to from here on out, because the first one I had an amazing time in
Yeah.
Philadelphia. Baltimore, I'm looking forward to it.
Absolutely. Oh, and one thing that we have to do, I'm committed to this. Last time you and I were together at Afros and Audios, we worked the entire weekend. I want to I want to really, really, really dig in. So this year, my plan in Baltimore is that we can really lean into just being there and hanging out with the people and doing the whole thing. Cause me and you, we was doing all types of stuff. So
Well, we're going to hit up record stores.
of
We're going to hit up a
course,
record store. But I think maybe we should delve into some Baltimore nightlife that we've always heard about.
yes.
Maybe we should, hopefully, our friend and MC and all around fashionista
Mm-hmm.
DDM will be available to take us around, or at least tell us where the highlights or the places that we should check out while we're in Baltimore. So
Yes.
I'm looking forward to that as we get through the summer. Um, so before we go any further, so one of the topics that I wanted to discuss tonight is, and I hate that we always seems like we always starting off on a somber note, or anyway. So Jamie Foxx, I
Mm-hmm.
think it's been almost a month since we first heard about him experiencing this medical event
Yeah.
that no one has given a name to, hasn't, we've all speculated that it's a stroke, and that, there's been very little information, but now there's this information coming out that the family is preparing for the worst, which is, there's no other word for it, but which is very jarring and saddening. It's very
Yeah.
sad. And Jamie Foxx he's been around for a minute, but in the grand scheme of things, he was really just getting started.
Yeah.
He's one of those people, he's one of those performers that there was so much more, and I don't want to speak about him in the past tense,
Right.
but he's limitless
Mm-hmm.
as far as potential is concerned. Jamie Foxx is one of those triple threats in the industry, actor, singer, comedian,
Mm-hmm.
and he's very, very skilled at each and every single one of those things. So I don't know. I know we've mentioned it before, and we're rooting for him, we're pulling for him, but I just hate hearing news like that. And also, a lot of these conspiracy theories, J-Ray, were
Yeah.
you aware that now they're saying that the Scientologists have something to do with Jamie being in this physical condition, this medical condition that he's in? And, yeah.
There's always something. I will say that, and we've been really consistent about this, and it's interesting. So we're talking about, of course, Jamie Foxx now, and we'll talk a bit about Bob Marley later. But there's this through line of health
Hmm.
and Black men taking care of ourselves, and for whatever that means. And of course, with Jamie Foxx, and Bob Marley, these were, of course, things that no folks didn't see coming. And it's also just a reminder for all of us, especially 2023. We say this every year now, but I feel like 2023 been gut punching, like been just gut punching us, and we have to take care of ourselves. Is
Yeah.
what it really boils down to. So make your appointment. My physical is in June. I'm very excited about it. I'm nervous at the same time because they got to do the blood work, and so all of the whole markup, right? But I'm at least happy I'm going. The appointment is made. I'm going to see my doctor for my physical. So if you are listening or watching this show, after you're done, hang up, log on, make an appointment with your primary care physician to have your physical if you have not had it this year.
J-Ray, you are absolutely right. I would have had mine last month. My physician had a family emergency, so I'm waiting for them to call back and be like, "Hey, we get you in this. We can slide you in on this date." And go to the dentist too. Let's
Yes.
not neglect going to the dentist, folks. Like, I went and got my cleaning earlier this week, and it's a part of. Here's what it's one of the things that frustrates me about our healthcare system in this country. A lot of dental procedures aren't covered
Right.
by our insurance.
Yeah, you
And the
have to have a
thing
whole
is,
other plan for
a
dental.
whole other plan, but teeth are a part of our bodies. Like, teeth are a part of our bones. They're literally
Yes.
bones that grow out of our
Yeah.
skulls. And so, and they are linked to a lot of other diseases,
Exactly.
especially heart disease.
Yep.
So please don't neglect to go see the dentist, get that cleaning, get that whatever it is that needs to happen, so that you don't have the yuck mouth, and that also that you can also take care. It's also a part of your regular general health. So please do that
Absolutely.
as well. I just wanted to add on to J Ray's very wonderful PSA about health. And we're living in a true renaissance period.
That was a good segue.
You like that? We're living in a true renaissance period. The renaissance literally started a few days ago, J Ray. And we were able to witness it in real time because of technology.
Yeah.
People, and listen, you're not gonna tell people they're not gonna live stream when they paid all that money to go to the concert. We're, of course, talking about Beyonce's
Mhm.
Renaissance, kicked off in Sweden just a couple days ago. And I want to personally thank a young man by the name of Casey Icon Billingsley, for for allowing us to watch to see the concert through his Instagram live. He got cut off a couple times, but he was able to we were able to look at the show through him
Mm-hmm.
for quite a bit of time. Yeah, I was thoroughly impressed.
Yeah.
A lot of people were talking about how she's working the kinks out, and
Of
this is,
course.
some people were saying that this was like a very fancy dress rehearsal
Mm-hmm.
because it was the first show, and some people were annoyed by that comment and some people were not. I can see why some people might have thought it was a dig, but it's really not.
Mm-mm.
Every performer looks at every show, takes every show and looks at video and says, okay, we're going to fine tune that. They take
Yeah.
notes.
Yes.
They take notes and they correct things that are going to be when the next show comes up. So I didn't find anything wrong with that. And I'm sure she, in fact, will, excuse me, do things differently when she by the time she finishes in that European leg and comes over to the States. What I did notice is that she has, in this Renaissance era, I can truly tell that she has loosened up
Mm-hmm.
the regimented form of her stage show.
Yeah.
Like, first of all, she's got a whole new cast of dancers. Everybody's well aware that, all the young ladies that she's had on tour with her for the past decade are no longer there. There might be one young lady, but there's one in particular that a lot of people miss because she's no longer there, and she's very recognizable.
Mm-hmm.
But Beyonce definitely revamped that aspect of the show. The staff has changed, and it brought a new energy, because I noticed there were parts of the show where I was like, well, this is kind of chaotic,
Mm-hmm.
but it was chaotic in a good way.
Yeah.
It wasn't as starch and regimented as a lot of the transitions have been in prior shows, and I think a lot of people may have been taken aback by that, and probably thought, well, this doesn't seem as tight as she typically is. I think it was done on purpose.
Yeah.
It's loosened up
It's
on
loose.
purpose because this is a renaissance. This is
Yeah.
an ode to party culture,
Yeah.
and there is a loose kind of feeling to a party culture. There's people that go and party. They want you to feel that feeling of getting up, being in your 20s, knowing that you have to go to work at 8 o'clock in the morning and say, you know what, bump that. I'm still going out and I am going to have fun anyway.
Yeah.
And that's what she wanted you to feel. And it came across, it was very apparent to me. And I was like, okay, I see where she's going.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't see as much of it as you saw, but I also want to thank him for live streaming as much as he did. What I appreciate about what I did see was, I feel like she's taking some risks.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. She is known for, to your earlier point, going back, watching the show, making tweaks. Like, this is not, in fact, I had heard, I've not seen Beyonce live on tour, but I had heard from folks that was like, oh, she's starting in Europe, because then by the time she gets to the US, it'll be like a well-oiled machine. Like, she's working out all the stuff over there. And then when it comes back here, it'll be where she wants it to be, or closer, right? So I absolutely believe that she is going to continue to make some adjustments as they go, see things that work, to the point where, Sir Daniel, you were just like, there was a section where it like, oh, this seems chaotic. I'm sure she's watching that video like, okay, no, like, we cannot do that, da da da. So you know what I'm happy about? I am happy that she stuck to her guns. She didn't run herself racket giving us visuals, because everybody visuals, right? She didn't run
You
herself
ain't
racket.
getting none.
You ain't getting none. What you are getting is this tour. And I
Yeah.
think folks need to lean into the fact that, listen, I'm going to give you this. The set looks gorgeous. I'm loving the costuming. I'm loving just how she's kind of showing up. She's different. She's older. She's a mom
Yeah,
of three.
that part.
Three they're not even children, they're not even toddlers anymore, so they're like kids, you know what I'm saying?
She almost has a teenager now
She
as well.
Exactly. So that all of that energy, to the point of Matthew, right? Big energy. All of that big energy is going to be part of it. And you know what? I will King of Reed said something today too that I want to address. Because I absolutely agree. And he was like, folks are like, "Oh my god, y'all are spoiling the show." Listen up. Listen up, folks. Here's the deal. The reality of the world that we live in is people do use their cell phones at shows.
That's that.
That's that on that. If you are concerned that you are going to the show and you don't want to see anything, you're going to have to log off. You're going to have to log off. Or like I think DDM said, like, just use Facebook, because the kids ain't really on Facebook doing that. They're on
You know,
they're on IG, TikTok, and Twitter doing it. Stay away from them. Spend your time on Facebook until you go see the show. But the reality is this: it's gonna be fine. Just because you see it, it don't feel the same way when you in the room. That's why movie trailers work, right? You still go
mm-hmm.
and see the movie even after you see the movie trailer, because context matters. So don't worry about it. Enjoy them videos, get your life to the videos, and then go to the show and get your life again. You're going to be fine.
I'll venture to say that what you saw the other day through those various mediums,
Mm-hmm.
it's probably not what you're going to see when your show comes to your
Right.
town.
We don't know
You're
what she's
probably
going to mix. She may pull songs out, put songs, and you have no idea.
Oh, speaking of, I'm glad you mentioned that. A lot of people were gagged by the fact that she started off with a lot of ballads.
Mm-hmm.
And I was not mad at it.
Mm-hmm.
Even though okay, Hive, don't get upset at me, but there is one song by Beyonce that I absolutely detest, and that's Dangerously in Love.
Okay.
I
For me, it's
cannot
Halo.
I cannot take Dangerously in Love. That song does nothing for me. It does a lot of seesawing, and it's just not my jam. But I believe she started off with that.
Mm-hmm.
And she went into a few of her ballads, and I'm like, that's growth. That's people saying, hey, there's a duality to us. We're not all we're not always gonna be about party, 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 and cow, and boom cacks, and high energy all the time. We want, a lot of us at our big age, Gen Xers too, we want to see her do what she does best, which
Mm-hmm.
is sing,
Mm-hmm.
because she can sing as well. We want her to flex that for us as well. And we want to, see a duality, see who this new woman is. Like you
Yes.
said, she's in her 40s, y'all. She's knee deep in her 40s, and she is and she's giving us the totality of the woman that she is now. And I'm here for it. I'm here for allowing our artists to be all of those things at the same time. So
Yeah.
yes. So I think
Yes.
it's a great time to witness the show. Shout out to everybody that could afford the tickets.
Yes.
Shout out to you. You're the true MVP here.
Absolutely. So one of the things, before we jump into our next topic, I want to bring in our next video. And
Yes.
our next person to send us a shout out is actually one of our day ones who's in the chat right now.
I think
So
I know who this is.
yes, so we're gonna watch the video and we'll be right back.
It's me, Carlton. I just wanted to do this video for you guys to say congratulations on becoming 2, and also another congratulations on your 100th episode. It has been a treasure, a pleasure to see you guys grow from day one all the way up until now. Definitely a supporter of you guys, will be. And you guys just keep doing what you're doing. You guys are doing it great. I'm looking forward to more of what you guys have in store. And You guys are truly amazing. From music to acting to fashion, um, just amazing. And you guys definitely keep us on our toes with a lot of info. So I thank you guys. And again, congratulations on becoming two. And also congratulations.
Carlton.
Thank you. Listen, so Carlton is the reason why we do what we do.
Mm-hmm.
Carlton, first of all, Carlton is a music head.
Mm-hmm.
And if we're getting love and support from somebody like Carlton, who is, first of all, he's a bigger collector than me.
Yeah.
Carlton got me beat when it comes to
Baby, we
music.
mentioned a song and Carlton like, I got
Oh,
the
I
vinyl
got
of
it.
that.
And he's super knowledgeable. He also comes from the position of a dancer, so he has the spirit of a dancer. So he is truly he's like the Q Points avatar of
Yeah.
who we're speaking to, and to know that he has been one of our day ones is really motivating to us to keep doing it for all of you guys, for all of you listeners, because like Carlton, you all deserve a great product. You all deserve your voices to be heard through conversations, and we hope that when we're speaking for you, that you are happy about that. And if we're not, if we're wrong, that you're willing to discuss, debate anything with us regarding this issue. But it's all for you. Again, thank you, Carlton, and thank you to each and every one of you listening right now that have got us to this point of 100 episodes.
My goodness. Yeah, we are so grateful, Carlton. Yeah, thank you for it's the reminder, like DJ Sir Daniel said, that we are definitely on the right path. So thank you for all of your continued support. So, Sir Daniel, something interesting that happened this week. And for us, Gen Xers, this is
Ooh,
a major loss.
yeah,
Listen, MTV News is shutting down. So not MTV, obviously, but the MTV News division, which we remember the remember when that would
right.
come in where you knew there was like a breaking story?
A breaking story, and don't let it be Kurt Loder, because that means
Kurt
somebody
was
died.
serious, right? Kurt was
That
serious.
means somebody died. So no, you're absolutely right. It feels like we lost a family member.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Gen Xers, we lost a family member. I think we got all of our important news from MTV, um, because that for us for that time period was real time,
Yeah.
because this is pre-internet,
Mm-hmm.
this was pre-social media. Uh, the the most intense technology we might have had at that time was fax machines,
Yes.
and even that took time. So,
Right.
but yeah, those were real journalists too.
Yeah.
Those
Yeah.
people were like legit journalists, music journalists that gave you a whole story, gave you a well-rounded view of artists, music, moments. They did it in this 50th anniversary of hip hop. We owe, MTV News a lot for their coverage of a lot of historical hip hop events. I remember they were there during the LA riots.
Mm-hmm.
They reported on that. They reported on like at the Fight the Power
Yep.
video shoot
Mm-hmm.
during the unrest in Bensonhurst, and following Spike Lee. We got to see, because of MTV News, of course, we found out about very serious moments in
Mm-hmm.
time, like the murder of Pac, the murder of Biggie,
Yep.
the you know they covered D they covered D Barnes's
Yeah.
assault by Dr.
Mm-hmm.
Dre,
Yep.
which a lot of media outlets were
Was
not covering,
covering. Yep.
or giving her any giving her story any kind of shine. So we owe a lot to MTV News, and for actually being journalists and actually covering the culture the way it should have been.
Yeah. that is going to be uh from a music standpoint, they will definitely be an outlet that will be missed. I do think it's generational. Like it's definitely
For
something
sure.
that we can speak to in this very kind of visceral way, because you're absolutely right in that we didn't have um another way to get news about artists that matter to us in real time like that.
Mhm.
um MTV News was different than like a BET at night. Like they didn't cover news the same way. It was very music forward in terms of the way they covered things. So listen, farewell to MTV News. You gave an entire generation of music listeners access to artists and information about artists in a way that we wouldn't have been able to get otherwise. Y'all shared, to Carlton's point, y'all shared news about the greats, the Michaels, the Princes, the Janets, the Whitneys, and all of hip hop through the years as it ascended to the cultural iconography that it is today. So yeah, um,
I
like things change.
Things change, and I get that. Do we? Is there still a need for the journalistic eye, the trained journalist eye, to cover music like we got it
Yes.
covered back in the day?
Yeah, no, the need has not gone away.
Hmm.
Right. So what I think has gone away is the ability to fund the need, right? Or at least from an MTV standpoint, the need has absolutely not gone away, because even I feel like even more so now, because we have so many platforms and there's so much misinformation and disinformation out there. I think we need, now more than ever, we need journalists to be like, here's what's happening with Jamie Foxx. Here's what we know for sure. And then
Yeah,
to be able to report on it in a way that is factual and journalistically sound. So, because I mean, the reality is this. Um, from a television standpoint, we don't have there's no other option.
no,
I mean,
no.
we have Rolling Stone, we have Billboard, we have Pitchfork, we as like places we can go to read music news,
Websites, yes.
websites and things like that. But in terms of like a platform on TV, there really isn't any. Um so yeah, we need there is still a need. And for those of you who are entrepreneurial out there and feel like this is something that sponsors would pay for, you probably have an open opportunity to create something that people would actually watch.
Absolutely. Now, I will say somebody did. Another friend paid us a compliment and said, because I tweeted about it. I was like, a little dismayed and shocked.
Mm-hmm.
Well, not shocked, but dismayed. And there was like, it was Gil, as a
Mm-hmm.
matter of fact. Gil, who has been a longtime supporter
Yeah.
as well, another day one, and
Q1
also a
and Q Points Insider.
insider, absolutely was like, well, hey, not okay, MTV's gone, but you guys have a show that can do the same thing.
I
And
thought about that.
I thought about it and I was like, you know what? The fact that somebody trusts us enough or feels like we have the aptitude do that, means a lot.
Yeah.
And I agree that we take seriously what we do here. And yeah, and we like to have fun.
Yes.
But yeah, we definitely I do think that needs to be a generation, somebody from the generation now that can speak to the things that are happening today, because a lot of the stuff that we're just not interested in
Child.
needs
Or
needs to be
understand.
covered or
Like
understand. Definitely needs to be covered, but it needs to be covered from a journalistic standpoint. So it's like all you 2023 graduates out there,
call your
hopefully
boys.
some of hopefully some of you all are journalism majors and you have a true love and a passion for music and music culture. Please take into consideration, being a true contributor to the culture by documenting and being a real journalist. We need real journalists to not be afraid anymore, because as journalists were under attack
Yes.
outside of just music, journalism is under attack, and that's one of the few places that sound thinkers and sound minds can come and put pen to paper, or open up a mic and have a well-rounded view of things that are going on. So we need that. We still
Yeah.
need that.
Yes. So we're gonna play. We have 3 more videos, which is
Oh.
great because we have a couple more things we want to talk about, and then we're gonna talk about Bob Marley. So let's play this video really quick from another one of our former guests, who is an amazing MC.
Hey, yo, what up, Q Points? It's your boy Medino Green, aka Mr. Big Bad, always in my bag, aka Mac Daddy Green. And I just want to say congratulations on your 2-year anniversary and for your 100th episode. That's major for you guys. Thank you for having me on the show. It was a pleasure, and it's always a great time listening to you guys and very informative. On behalf of the coach and myself, I want to say thank you and keep up the good work. Peace.
Medino Green, thank you so much. That means a lot.
Yeah.
Because he's like, Medino's cut from the same kind of cloth as Q Points, as far as very DIY,
Yes.
very I'm doing this because I love it, because it's for the culture. And I just enjoy seeing him grind and seeing him be very, very vigilant about what he does as an artist. So that means a lot coming from Medino.
I agree. Shout out to you, Medino. Incredibly talented. We will make sure that we include in the description some places where you can go and download some Medino Green music, because you should be doing that. And we encourage you to make a purchase. Thank you, please, and thank you.
Absolutely. He's working on new music. He dropped a freestyle on the most recent Ice Spice and Nicki Minaj collab. So he's riding that beat.
Yeah.
And Medino represents a lot of artists, especially artists who consider themselves hip hop and rap, who are grappling with what it means to be successful and what it means to continue in this art form. Like, do I need to stay true to my roots, or do I need to go for the money grab? Well, recently Doja Cat, who has now changed her name to something crazy, like I something about flaps. I don't know the whole name right now, but she recently made a statement saying that her last couple albums were just cash grabs,
right?
And that she is, I don't know what she wanted to accomplish by saying that, because I don't know, it's not really a secret. I think this is where someone like a Remy Ma gets vindicated, because people went down Remy's throat when Remy said Doja Cat is not an MC.
Right.
And so I think what Doja Cat was saying about her own self was that, hey, I do this stuff because it's easy to me. I'm talented at it. It's not really, I didn't really put a whole lot of thought. This is what Sir Daniel thinks. I didn't really put a whole lot of thought into it, but but I did it because I can do it and y'all liked it. I got a Grammy. She won a couple. She won some major awards.
She won some major awards and made a ton
of money. So am I mad about it? Nah, not really, because there's not a lot of other things to be mad about. How do we feel about the culture? This is where we get into the whole gatekeeping thing, and is rappers need paydays too, right?
Absolutely. Listen, I actually kind of appreciate the earnestness of it. So essentially what she's saying is like, listen, my first record was true, right? Them 2 records though, after that, no. Right? I was just doing some things, making a coin, and made a lot of money, right? So what I really think the statement was meant to do was to prep her fan base that she
Mhm.
currently has that you might not like this record
Okay.
because it's probably closer to her first album or something completely different. And I mean, the track, I got wind of this track that she played on like an IG live, and it was just a spitter track. Like, I'm like, she's riding like a traditional hip hop beat. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? And she's just kind of riding that with a flow. And if she's going to do that, to Trey's point, shout out to Trey, who's also one of our day ones, of course. She's preparing to make a pivot. And she's like, all of y'all that came on for them 2 pop records that I did, I'm about to do a rap and R&B album, and y'all just gonna have to deal.
So hold on to your wigs and just go along for the ride.
Right.
Which is, which is smart. Which is something that this generation they have access to their fans, direct access to their fans, and so they can kind of prep them.
Yeah.
Whereas, like Salt and Pepper were recently on the Tamron Hall show, and they were recounting how, yes, they were part of the foundation, but when they made their pivot and they did things that were different, they couldn't prep us, the fans, for it. And so a lot of times they received a lot of backlash.
Yeah.
And they received a lot of criticism for not being, not being street enough, not being hip hop enough. And so that's going to be the the difference that we're going to see in this generation coming up, is that they're going to be like, hey guys, I know you like this, but I'm going to try and do that. So just bear with me and come along. And I think that their crowd, their audience is more apt to follow along than, say, what our generation was able to do back in the day. We weren't able to, or probably just didn't want to pivot when it came to people expressing themselves in a different manner, especially that early on in the game.
Yeah, I mean, we definitely gave folks grief for we called them sellout. We did all types of stuff. Oh, the stuff that we would say and do, which gives me heartburn today. But we were young and we didn't know, and we thought we understood, right? So I mean, shout out to Doja Cat. I of course came to know her from the Bitch I'm a Cow, which I thought was the funniest thing ever.
I thought that song was brilliant.
Listen, more please. So shout out to her.
What just happened?
We're not ending yet.
We're not done.
I hit a button. We're not done. But no, shout out to shout out to Doja Cat, and we're excited about what she has in store. I want to see what she comes up with. But we have another video from another guest on the show that we've had. And so we're going to hear from our brother, and we'll be right back.
What up? It's Mr. Al Pete with the MPN Network.
I don't hear sound, but I should hear
sound. Happy anniversary.
Sounds.
Happy 2 years. Moving
Sir Daniel, do you hear sounds?
These music streets.
I do.
In these podcast streets.
Then if you hear sound, that means the people hear sound.
Granted the honor to be on the show. Hopefully I can get on there again. And y'all have to get on my show as well. But thank y'all so much for spreading all the dope music intakes, the thoughts, just the laughs, all that great stuff, man. I just wish y'all more. Y'all know if y'all need anything, holla at your boy. Y'all get them shirts, man. Look at it. Yes, sir. Mr. Al Pete, peace to the top.
Yo, we will post that on our socials. I apologize. I could not hear anything until the very end. It's technology.
Really?
It happens.
It happens.
Listen.
Look, we're on the tail end of retrograde. We about to get up out of this thing. Oh my God, Mercury retrograde has had me in a chokehold this go round, but it's gonna be okay. But yeah, shout out to Mr. Al Pete representing Duval, Florida, holding us down. Such a gracious brother. winner. He was last year's winner of the
Best
best
music podcast for the
music
Black Pod
podcast.
Awards. For his
Absolutely.
show, yeah, The Tables Might Wobble. He was on our show. We had a 2-part episode where we talked about the hip hop. One, how we felt, which Al Pete was on, and we had this great conversation as kind of 3 Gen Xers kind of like just talking about hip
Mhm.
hop, and then followed it up with our CSW show where we kind of talked about the future of hip hop. So shout out to Mr. Al Pete. We highly encourage you to support everything that he has going on, because, excuse me, and if you're in Jacksonville, check out some of the events. He's always hosting something.
He's a
Plenty.
dope DJ. He's a
Mhm.
dope DJ as well. And yeah, and you saw that fly ass sweatshirt that he had on, the hoodie. You could have one of those too. So he had on one of our very famous
Mhm.
stop tweeting and start rapping Q Points hoodies, and you should have one too, or get the t-shirt, whichever one you like. But we
Yeah.
appreciate you, Mr. Al Pete, for riding with us and holding us down. J Ray.
We've arrived. So we have 2 more things. We definitely want to talk and send love to our brother Bob Marley. But something happened yesterday, Sir Daniel, that we kind of can't ignore.
What's that?
So Anita Baker is out on tour.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Anita Baker is out on tour, and Babyface, our good brother Babyface, is opening for Anita Baker. And yesterday or last night, there was a lot of rigmarole at a show. And what ultimately happened was Babyface's set got cut out. So there was no Babyface to make room for a Miss Baker's full set. So here's what we understand to have happened is that there was some technical issues that forced some lateness to the show. However, instead of Miss Baker adjusting her set, what they ultimately decided to do was just cut the Babyface set completely so that her entire set could be performed. Now, the audience was not happy. People were up. And one, she was real. It was real late. Everything was real. Showtime was at 7. Baby, you know grown people. You said the show started at 7. Apparently Janet been starting on time the whole tour. If it's like 8:01, lights is going down, kids. It's time to start.
That's it. That's exactly it. I think what really pushed people over the edge was Babyface made an iOS press release and tweeted out to the world that, hey, he apologized.
Yeah.
That just basically saying, hey, listen, guys, I am devastated that I am not able to perform for you in order to make room for Miss Baker's complete show. We are being cut out of tonight's performance. And that didn't sit well with a lot of people because automatically, and I've had a chance to sit with this, automatically, for one, Anita Baker does have a checkered past.
Yes.
I'll say that. A checkered past as far as her tour life is concerned with other performers whose names are pretty much on par with hers. Like Babyface is not a novice. Babyface is not a slouch.
People came to see him.
Babyface is a heavy hitter.
Right.
And there are a lot of people who are even saying they're kind of wondering why Babyface is opening for Anita Baker. And it's no shade. It's probably just makes economical sense, that they're on this tour together. Anyway, so a lot of people are recalling her past with Luther Vandross, which gave her a sour reputation in the industry for a minute. And a lot of that could be This may not have had anything to do with Anita. This may have been something completely out of her control.
Right.
And maybe she wasn't even the one that said, oh, well, I guess you're just going to have to not get Babyface tonight. It's all about the Baker show. You about to get these Anita Baker notes around here. And so people, of course, are running with that narrative because she hasn't made any kind of remark or public response at all. But as we do, a lot of people, the speculations are running wild and free, and people are digging up old clips of like Stephanie Mills on the Breakfast Club. She wasn't taking a dig at Anita, but she was just like, she said what she said about Anita Baker, and if you want to see that, there's clips all over the place. You can see that. And she was one of the people that responded to Babyface's statement saying that, oh, I'm so sorry, you can come tour with me.
Yep.
There was people like Layla Hathaway were in the comments, Tamar Braxton, Tony Braxton, a lot of blue checks, a lot of people that are heavy hitters themselves. But J-Ray, I gotta say, the funniest thing that I saw that had me in stitches on my Twitter timeline, the one and only Cheryl Lynn, who does not comment a lot on Twitter, was on Twitter and making the funniest statements that weren't naming any names, but you could tell it was aimed. It was like hot ones being aimed at somebody. Those were subliminal shots, if you ask me. But that took me out, seeing Cheryl Lynn, who is most known, well, not most known, but one of her pivotal and amazing songs for her history is a duet that she did with Luther Vandross.
Amazing, yes.
If This World Were Mine. Oof. So, and we know that Cheryl wrote for Luther. They wrote for each other. I believe he might have written some stuff for her.
Yeah.
And they toured and everything. So yeah. So I don't know. There's a lot of speculation going around, but it's not a good look for Miss Baker.
No. I hope the rest of the tour goes well. That's what I'm gonna hope for. And I hope this doesn't sour the relationship between her and Babyface, because I do think a lot of people want to see Face too. I mean, it's Babyface. Who don't want to see Face? So we're going to play our last video and then transition into our next topic.
Q Points! Happy 2-year anniversary. I love y'all so much. Y'all deserve all your flowers. Your pod is freaking lit. Okay? I'm so proud of y'all. 2 years is a big deal, especially in this podcasting space. So here's to 2 more years and 2 more years and 2 more years. Love y'all.
Yo! That's the award-winning.
Come on, say it right.
Award-winning. Like, Anna has so many awards, I can't even name them. She just won some more. She just won some communicator awards as well. That is the Ambi award-winning, Black Pod award-winning, communicator award-winning Anna Deshawn, co-founder of The Cube. Q Points is on The Cube too, so make sure that you get on The Cube. Sending us a shout out. Thank you so much, Anna. We appreciate you so much.
We love you so much for that support, Anna. And well, I guess we're at the point now where we will get to our main topic. Although, shout out to Janelle Monáe.
Yo, winning this day.
Shout out to Janelle Monáe. Janelle we've witnessed her evolution. She's no longer in her uniform.
No, she's gotten rid of that uniform.
she's gotten rid of a couple other layers of her uniform too. But I'm here for it. I'm here for the freedom of her freedom of expression. There isn't anything that she's dropped that I do not like, so I'm looking forward to it. And J-Ray, remember, before we got on the air, I could hear the Mr. Softy truck in the background while we were getting ready, and I was like, if the Mr. Softy truck is not the cry, the war cry of summertime's arrival, I
Yes.
don't know what is. And it got me to thinking about summer music. And then I put you on to a
Yes.
young man by the name of IDK,
Yep.
who definitely has a summer bop on his hands
It's
with the
hot.
song Pinot Noir.
Mm-hmm.
And the song features Saucy Santana
Mm-hmm.
and a young lady by the name of Miss Juicy Fruit.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a bop. It's
It's a
got
bop.
a Tribe Called Quest sample, and I really hope that Kaya has been compensated because it samples Kaya's "All My Ladies," pop
Yeah.
yo like this.
Yes.
It's so I'm begging y'all, please make sure you cleared it with
If
Kaya
y'all
because
hear
we
if
don't
y'all
want to
hear
hear her
this and
mouth.
you haven't done it, call Kaya immediately.
Please let Kaya know. Send her a check.
Right.
We don't want y'all on her docket. None of that stuff, please. But no, it's a great song, and I love the story behind it. The young man IDK reached out to Santana personally because his vision for the song, he heard Santana on the song and was like, yo, I want dude on the song. I want him to be himself. I want him to spit. And Santana slid on the track. Like the flow, a lot of people were concerned about, will Santana be able to ride this kind of beat? Because it's
Mhm.
a traditional,
It's
it's
a
almost a
traditional hip.
traditional
Yeah.
hip hop beat, and Santana did what needed to be done. So I was really glad to hear that. Glad to hear about their collaboration. So I'm looking forward to seeing what this song does over the summer.
Yeah, so definitely we'll put the link in the description to the IDK joint, but definitely show that joint some love because as soon as it came on, I was like, oh, okay, okay.
Mm-hmm.
As a lover of hip hop turning 50, this is what I
Yeah.
want to hear.
The Gen Xers, our listener, you will not turn it down immediately.
No.
You will actually turn it up, and you'll
Mhm.
probably be thinking like, is this old or is it new?
Right.
Because the flow is definitely traditional hip hop flow.
Yeah.
And it's a dope beat. So check it out.
Yeah. So I didn't realize this. You realized this. I didn't realize this until today.
Mm-hmm.
Today is the 42nd commemoration of the passing of Bob Marley. And so there was a documentary that came out in 2012 called Marley. It was executive produced by Ziggy, his son Ziggy Marley, and Chris Blackwell. If you don't know the name Chris Blackwell, you definitely know his output because Chris Blackwell is the founder of Island Records, the home of course, Bob Marley, but also Grace Jones, U2, White man, lived in Jamaica, started this record label, which included distributing Bob Marley's Tough Gong. And got us to thinking about the tremendous legacy of one Bob Marley, who is for us a figure that has transcended like he's just omnipresent and it's weird now because now there's like Marley incense and like Marley rappers and like Marley matches. Like he has been commodified in this way that almost makes him not real, but this man was real.
Yes, sir. Robert Nesta Marley was definitely real. The legacy, I think he means so much to his native country of Jamaica, like nobody else does. Like that Marley name is royalty in Jamaica because, to be quite honest, if you think about it, his music is partially responsible, could be linked to their tourism.
Yeah. Yep.
To tourism, which is very important to a country like Jamaica, for all intents and purposes, which is still very poor.
Yes.
Which is still which is crime ridden because of the poverty
Mm-hmm.
and because of the underhanded, I don't even want to talk about that, but the because of the Asian influence coming over there to buy up and drill and mine all their
Yes.
natural resources. So there's still a lot of the grief in which Bob Marley's music came out of to sing and to celebrate his country
Mm-hmm.
is still going on today. And so the music still speaks to that.
Yeah.
I kind of, to your point about him being commodified, I think that's one of the things that I kind of dislike
Mm-hmm.
the way that his image has been, in the same respect that Jimi Hendrix, Michael Jackson, a lot of them, their image is no longer their own, and a
Yeah.
lot of these corporations just hijack their images. And I hope the family does get some recognition or percentages of the licensing, but who knows? After this point, they may not. But it's almost a bastardizing of what this man gave to this world,
Mm.
and I don't know. It just feels like he's one of those. You know how some, white people say, "I'm not racist. I have a black friend." I think
their back friend is Bob Marley.
they're, I'm not racist. I listen to Bob Marley. I love
Right.
reggae music.
Okay.
And so go ahead.
No. I was going to say, to that point, growing up here in Chester, I came to know the music of Bob Marley through rock and roll, through like
Mm,
MTV, which was very interesting because it was not because I had not been introduced to reggae when I was a kid in that way. I didn't quite get it. I didn't quite get the rhythm pattern. Oh, and it was something interesting when I was watching the film. Speaking of the rhythm pattern, I figured out why I couldn't get it as a kid. Bunny Wailer, who was one of the co-founders of the Wailers with Bob Marley, so it was Bunny, Bob, and Peter Tosh. But Bunny said reggae is 4 beats. You play 3, and the fourth is an illusion. You kind of lean into it, right? And you make up the fourth beat. And I was like, oh yeah, that is kind of what it feels like, right? And I don't know that as a kid I could understand that. And not only that, also understanding the accent, right? So,
yeah.
but it was interesting how it was through white people that I was being introduced to this very black ass music. Like, this is black, black, black. These people are more connected to the diaspora than anything that I was listening to.
Definitely the message of black nationalism,
Mm-hmm.
echoing the spirit and the words of Marcus Garvey, who,
Mm-hmm.
do your history, do your research.
Yep.
Marcus Garvey was a true a revolutionary from Jamaica.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't know that. Yeah, and as somebody who is a part of that wave of immigrants that came to this country in the late 70s and early 80s from the West Indies, I get what I feel is like we're romanticized
Mm.
by Americans, especially white Americans. They romanticize about Caribbean culture and Caribbean people, period, because I believe that the warmth and the openness in which a lot of Caribbean people meet the visitors that
Mm.
come to our island, the hospitality that they receive, harkens back to a time that a lot of white Americans, long for, that they want to make
Mm.
America great again for. So
I
it
feel you.
harkens back to that era. So it's kind of like, oh, I kind of wish these black people in America
Well,
were
more like
were,
these.
were more like these lovely Jamaicans and their wonderful Amon accent, and and we smoke wonderful ganja over there, and they just have the time of their lives, and but it's kind of it's a lot of the same thing. Let's go over there and pick and cotton pick what we want,
Right.
take it, come back to our country and be who we want to and be who we are over here. But then we could go get treated like kings over there and get your little tired Bo Derek braids done by a woman on the beat for $20 and come back looking a fool, But but not to take away from the celebration of what this man gave to the world. I think that's why I say what I say, because he literally gave his life for a culture, for music that I feel sometimes gets bastardized. I know it gets bastardized. I know it gets commodified for to make other people rich. Thank God he has he has quite the lineage.
Baby, he got children's.
He got children's that are carrying on the tradition, which sits well in my heart and makes me feel good that it's in good hands, hopefully.
Yeah, it's interesting. So there are 2 points that I wanted to follow up with what you said, because you're right. The first point is this idea that this music, when they began to first perform, I learned this by watching the documentary. They're, of course, Rastafarians, and Rastafarians, have a particular way of seeing the world and places where they will go and where they will be. And of course, this white man at the record label is like, look, listen, you got to go over here to London. You got to go over here to London. You're going to perform for these folks. One, we ain't going to pay you because it's a promotional tour, right? So we going to get you the tour. You ain't going to make no money. You got a record probably, and you ain't making money on that either, right? So you ain't making no money, right? So you're going to go to London, and then you're going to leave London, and you're going to go to America. And these folks, at least Peter and Bunny, were like, oh, we don't really perform in these types of venues for these types of people, right? And Peter left first. Peter was like, I ain't doing the London thing, so y'all go handle. No, Peter was I'm sorry, Bunny was like, I'm gonna do the London thing, but I'm definitely not going to America. Too far. Not gonna do it. And then Peter went along, and then of course Peter leaves after America. But what I found very interesting, I felt like Bob understood what his purpose was spiritually, and I really connected to that. Of like, yes, listen, I am a Rasta, but I also have this thing to give to the world, and I can't stop. This is the way out for my family. And continued on, and it doesn't get into how he dealt with kind of the duality of it all, but I am really curious about that. Like this idea of these men of a particular spiritual faith having to go out into this world that fundamentally they may not agree with, right? But and drop these gems, you know what I'm saying, on them. So that's one. And the second thing is Chris Blackwell wanted to promote them as a black rock act. And it made sense. It was like, no, he was like, no, the way I figured that I would get these guys put on is I needed to promote them as a black rock act, because he was like, people didn't know reggae at that point, right? So when you're talking about the early 70s, it's like, well, send them out there, black rock dudes doing this, so adding a little more guitar, adding a little more this and a little more that, made them made people get it in a different way. And so I appreciated that. So I do think that, yes, because this music was delivered to the world and to white people on this platter of rock and roll, not on this platter of black liberation music for poor people under white rule in Jamaica, right? They were able to kind of take it in, and so now they're singing these songs, and I'm like, child, Get Up Stand Up is a protest song, child. What? Like,
A protest song like no other.
right.
And all these years later, now Jamaica is finally free of
Mm-hmm.
is now sovereign from
Yeah.
London.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
same thing. A lot of the other islands are following suit too. Barbados is following suit. A lot of different places are doing the same thing because now it's like, okay, time's up for that.
Yeah.
Colonization has harmed us more than anything. These are, it's the duality. It's like these lavished islands. If you go to a certain, and it still happens, if you go to certain places, certain venues, even in Barbados, you can tell that they're made specifically for white people to come and have a good time. The natives aren't allowed or aren't encouraged to participate. It's too expensive for them to participate. And so you still have this, colonization still is in effect. Places where we are from, we populate and we are, we built, we're not even allowed to enjoy thoroughly. But you come and you enjoy the food, the music, the men, the women. It's all of that. All of it. It all goes hand in hand with me. I can't separate them. That's just the way my brain is. I cannot separate them. And that's why I know some people are able to take the music and enjoy it. But then I always think about the backdrop of what's happening behind on this beautiful island, knowing that there's people still living in shanty houses.
Still
with no electricity
with
or
no
running water.
electricity or running water. That to me is that angers me. And and so in terms of the staying power of this music, so even as I was watching the documentary, hearing these lyrics of fight, but also reflection and of love, really did inspire me. And one of my favorite songs of all time actually is Concrete Jungle, which is off of their Catch a Fire album. Bob Marley and the Wailers, Catch a Fire album. Concrete Jungle is the opening track. One of the most beautiful songs you'll ever hear. And it's a whole jam. And but it's also about revolution.
Right.
And that's special. And so I think one of the lasting legacies of Bob Marley is the power of staying true to your vision. There was a moment where they were like, oh, the Commodores would love for Bob Marley to open for them. And Bob Marley's manager was like, well, real talk, the Commodores should be opening for Bob Marley. But when he went to Bob and presented him the thing, Bob is like, it's fine. Child, they wore these people out because Bob was a huge international star. We didn't know him apparently in the Black US, but child, he had already been over into Grissom. He was a huge international star. So it was during that trek as an opening act for the Commodores that then Black Americans was like, who in the world is this? But I think the staying power, of course, the music, but also that idea of just staying true to your vision, is why we should be continuing to celebrate Bob Marley.
And on that note, enough said, man.
So yes, shout out.
I detest awful Jamaicans or just Caribbean accents and I detest awful imitations. I really do.
Did you? I remember Cool Runnings and feeling like those accents were awful in that movie. I was like,
Cool Runnings, The Mighty Quinn. What else? The movie with Whoopi Goldberg and Doogie Howser. And don't forget
oh
that
yeah,
Clara's
Clara's
Heart. Clara's Heart. And don't forget that terrible, terrible Jamaica bobsled movie.
oh my god. Oh, that
But
was Cool Runnings. I think that was the Cool Runnings.
Oh, that was
The
Cool
Jamaican-
Runnings.
yeah,
Okay,
that was Cool
yeah.
Runnings.
But that's what happens when a culture is when people feel like they can pick and choose from a culture and just say, "Oh,
Yes.
this is fun." It's like a costume they can put on.
Right.
Oh, I love your dreadlocks. Can I touch them? You know,
No.
that kind of thing. No, you cannot. Exactly. But listen, what you can do is you can touch that subscribe button
Boom.
to Q Points and follow us wherever you listen to your podcasts. This is show 100. We will be here next week for show 101.
Yes.
So believe
with
that.
Anna Deshawn. Anna Deshawn will be
Hey,
hanging out with us next week. So come and hang out with us.
that's amazing. Again, J Ray, I'm thankful I couldn't do this show without. I wouldn't want to do this show with anybody else.
Same.
So here's to 20 more years, 50 more years of Q Points and all the stuff that Q Points will yield.
Yes.
Catch that part.
Absolutely. So y'all, please subscribe wherever you are watching or listening. Thank you so much to all of the listeners, all of the people that watch us. We appreciate y'all so much. Like we could not do it. We just couldn't do it without y'all. And we appreciate y'all so much. This has been amazing. So listen, make sure you visit the website, qpoints.com. If you want to support us as well, go ahead and click the subscribe button. You can do so. But yeah, we'll see you next week.
That's right. Have a drink on. Look, cheers.
Cheers. Mine is empty now. Cheers.
And also cheers to all the graduates.
Yes.
And everybody going to prom.
Yep.
Enjoy
Check out our
yourself.
TikTok. Sir Daniel put up some great TikToks.
Please, yes. You'll hear what J Ray's prom song was.
Yep.
You'll hear what my prom song was. And you'll get to see us at our graduations, our high school graduations. So,
right.
cheers to you all, and thank you for joining us. But J Ray, what do I say on every show for show 100? And it still stays the same. In this life, you have a choice. You can either pick up the needle or you can let the record play. I am DJ Sir Daniel.
My name is J Ray, y'all.
And this is Q Points, dropping the needle on Black music history. We'll see you on the next go round.
Peace.